Welcome back. We are less than 1 week away from Valentine's Day. Can you believe it? So you may want to bust out your best chocolate and wine. Before you do, you'll want to know what goes together beautifully. Joining us is the wine diva, the mistress of Merlot, the chanteuse of Chardonnay, Leslee Miller from Amuse Wine. Good morning, friends.
Almost happy Valentine's Day.
Almost happy Valentine's Day. Okay, let me ask you generally, you would think it's easy. Is pairing wine with chocolate easy?
No. In fact, that's why we're doing this segment today, Jason, because it is more difficult than you think. Actually, the tannins from chocolate and the tannins from red wines often collide, making that pairing a little bit bitter.
See, I thought you told me that before, and I found that interesting because I think, in movies and stuff, they make it seem like, oh, of course you're going to have chocolates and wine. But it's difficult. So what do we have?
Well, the rule of thumb with desserts is that you kind of always want a wine that's just one titch sweeter than what you're actually having on your plate. And when it comes to something like white chocolate, that's pretty difficult because white chocolate is actually very sweet. My suggestion for white chocolates would be something that has a little bit more sweetness to it, like a really beautiful Moscato. Now, when we think of Moscato, we either turn our noses up or we go, yay, Moscato. But in fact, there's some really pretty, Moscatos from Northern Italy. This one is actually just nice, light, frothy, very orangey in complexity. Also just like a slightly sweet Riesling. So a nice, clean German Riesling with just a little bit of residual sugar, meaning that it was left over in the grape process. And those two actually match up perfectly with something like white chocolate that is sweet.
Got it. Okay, let's move to a different type of chocolate.
All right, so milk chocolate. I mean, this is another one that's really difficult because you think, okay, we're working on the sweeter side, but you have some more round, sort of buttery tones with milk chocolate, especially if you're going to go with something like toffee, almonds, things like that have a little crunch to them. You want a white wine that has some roundness, big voluptuous notes. Now, this is where I would suggest picking a California Chardonnay that has a little bit of a wood tone to it, more caramel, cinnamon, nutmeg. I also love the grape Pinot Gris. Pinot Gris, Pinot Grigio, same grape. What I would do is actually pick up something from like New Zealand or Oregon, California, and you have yourself a really good pairing to milk chocolate.
Is that, Leslee, that wine in front of you, I think you have given me to try that right in front of you. What is that brand right there?
This is Morisco, and it's called the Ned, which is actually the point of the mountain where it's grown in New Zealand. Do you like it? I do.
That's why I wanted to recommend it to folks. It's really, so what's the brand again? Because I want folks to get that one.
Morisco, Marisco. And it's about maybe $12, $13. So It's a really great value. Great value.
Next kind of chocolate?
Okay, so dark chocolate, because that's what we're always indulging in, right?
Yeah.
And when you think of dark chocolate, you actually, again, you want a red wine that has just a little sneak of, again, leftover sugar somewhere in the process. And generally the grape that really is kind of key for that is the grape Zinfandel. Now, Zinfandel, because it actually hangs on the vine a little bit longer, there is always a little bit more of that unctuous, sort of rounder, sweeter tone to it. This one's really easy. This is very, very easy to find. This is Marietta Old Vine Red. You can find it everywhere. I think it's like $10, $11. A really great value for dark chocolate overall. Very easy.
OVR, right? Look for that label.
Old Vine Red, yes. Made by Marietta. Yep.
Another good one. Okay, next kind of chocolate?
Okay, so you also probably are going to pick up something maybe with some fruit, some cute cherries, maybe something with a little bit of raspberry. And oftentimes they say match to that fruit. So you don't clobber the fruit, but you actually kind of snuggle up next to it. And this is a very traditional old school pairing, but pick up a great little port. And this is super fun. So this is actually Grams out of Portugal. Remember that port is from Portugal. And there are two styles of port. There's a ruby port and there's a tawny port. A ruby port is what you want if you're trying to pick up some fruit notes in that chocolate. A ruby is just glass aged, whereas a tawny is barrel aged. You get more of those caramelly tones with a barrel, but this is fresh, it's sort of bouncy purple fruit that will go with actually kind of nice strawberry raspberry tones in the actual chocolate.
We have about 30 seconds. What's that one on the end, Leslie?
Last, I'm going to bring this back because I'm such a huge fan of sherry. Of course, you can never go wrong with sherry, and caramels. Anything that's sort of caramely, sherry definitely has more of like a, rounder, buttery, almost like brown butter tone to it. I love the grape Pedro Jimenez. You cannot go wrong with these pairings, you guys.
Perfect. Happy Valentine's Day, Ms. Leslie.
Happy Valentine's Day to you. We'll obviously have all these pairings up on the Facebook page at our site as well later.
Absolutely. And that site is amusewine.com. We'll also post this on the Jason Show Facebook page.